Ms. Sleightholm?
Aloha Leinaala Sleightholm, and aloha Mr. Baybayan.
Hello.
When you're out on the ocean in the Va'a, looking up at the stars, do you ever feel that you're looking at the very same stars that our ancestors looked at?
Absolutely.
And what does that feel like for you?
You know, my first voyage to Tahiti in 1980, I was transported back to, you know, there's a number of emotions that one feels, but I knew at the very base of my emotions that I was experiencing the same kind of emotions and wonder that my ancestors was experiencing. In that, I was like them.
Thank you. And when you're out on the ocean, do you use all of your senses, your sight, smell, and touch when you're navigating?
Yes, I use my sights and my feel more than my touch.
Thank you. And when you're out on the ocean using your senses, do you ever hear the sound of construction?
Nope.
Do you smell exhaust from construction vehicles?
Nope.
Do you see large amounts of dust or dirt?
No.
Thank you. Have you ever considered that, like yourself and others who continue our traditional cultural practice of Kalepa, there are others who also continue traditional religious and cultural practices on the Mauna?
Yes.
And would you agree that those practitioners will be subjected to the sound of construction, the smell of exhaust and dust and dirt while carrying out this practice?
No.
So during the time of the proposed TMT construction, you're saying that practitioners on the Northern Plateau will not be subjected to the sound of construction, the smell of exhaust, or dirt and dust?
Well, if they go to the Northern Plateau, they're going to be subjected. But
Thank
if you
you.
go to any place else on the mountain, you're not.
But specifically on the Northern Plateau?
Yes.
Thank you. And how important is it to you to continue the traditional practice of Va'a,
Of Va'a.
of navigation and wayfinding?
It's incredibly important to me.
And would you agree that it is equally important to continue the traditional and customary cultural practices on the Mauna as well?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And you testified earlier about modern navigational instruments and how they weren't on board. Is that true?
I said that in the question about Mao needing a modern big tool, I said there'd be no physical space to accommodate that.
So there were no modern navigational tools on board?
Oh, no, that's not true. We do have modern, we have a chart plotter, we have a GPS on board for emergencies.
Thank you. And with those specific tools and your traditional wayfinding practices, were those voyages successful?
With those traditional tools,
With both the what little modern technology you had and your traditional wayfinding, were those voyages successful?
yes.
Thank you. Have you considered that the reflection off of the proposed TMT would be bright enough to be visible out at sea?
No.
Would you agree that the proposed TMT would be a visibly additional structure while you're out at sea?
Would be a visible,
Visibly additional structure.
you know, I know it's on the north, I know caused me to qualify the exact location of the telescope. I know it's on the northern plateau, but I'm not exactly sure if you can see it from the eastern horizon.
Thank you. And I know you testified earlier that your only experience of the proposed TMT site was from the roadway. Would you say that that would qualify you to make assessments of whether or not the TMT should be built there? And I relate that to when you're teaching wayfinding to some of your students. Would it be the same and as successful if those same students stood on shore and learned wayfinding?
The preferred location for teaching wayfinding is along the coastline.
But is that the most successful and only way?
That's been consistent with our past practices that we use the shoreline. There's only one summit area in Hawaii that we've used, and that's on Kaho'olawe.
So you're using the shoreline from out on the va'a or standing on the shoreline?
Standing on the shoreline.
Thank you. And on page 4 of your written testimony, you use the term synergy. How would you define synergy?
Yeah, so, synergy as being collaboration and unified effort.
I had looked up the definition of synergy, and the definition that I had found was that synergy is a mutually advantageous conjunction of compatibility of distinct business participants or elements. What synergistic benefit do you believe there would be for the Northern Plateau?
Can you just slow down and repeat that question again, please?
What synergistic benefit would you say there would be for the Northern Plateau if the definition of synergy was a mutually advantageous?
Please don't answer. I'm going to only ask if you mean by his definition of synergy, which you asked for, or the definition that you had just read?
The definition that I had just read, because he used that word in his testimony.
So, if you don't mind, could you reread that your definition, and then
Sure.
the witness understands that his answer is based on your definition, not his own.
Thank you. The definition that I found for synergy is a mutually advantageous conjunction of compatibility of distinct business participants or elements, and in parentheses, as a resource or efforts.
Yeah, I don't understand that definition. Sorry.
Thank you. Are you familiar with the term vau'akua and vau'kanaka?
Yes, I've heard that before.
And how would you define those terms?
Just the realm of the gods. Can you just repeat the vau'akua and
Vau'kanaka.
yeah, so one would be considered the realm of the gods, and one would be the realm of human.
Would you be able to explain why those terms were given to those areas?
No, I cannot.
Thank you. Would it be accurate to say that, excuse me, your belief that the proposed TMT will be helpful, but that is not really your area of expertise?
Can you repeat the question just so I can understand it, I can get to the answer?
Would it be accurate to say that your belief that the proposed TMT will be helpful, but that really is not your area of expertise?
Well, I'm a member of this community, so I believe it is an area of my expertise.
Thank you. Would it be accurate to say that though you may be an expert in the stars above, you are not an expert on the substantial, significant, and adverse impacts that occur on the land below?
That's an accurate statement.
Thank you. Is wayfinding practices relating to Mauna Kea the only traditional and customary practice relating to Mauna Kea?
No, it's not.
Thank you. Do you receive compensation from the university while you're voyaging on the Malamahonua voyage?
I am a representative of the university to the Malamahonua voyage.
Thank you. So, with that said, you are compensated by the University of Hawaii while you're on voyage?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. In the past, you publicly stated your support for the proposed TMT because of the community benefit to Hawaii. Is that true?
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit what the community benefit means?
Well, I believe that anybody that uses that mountain needs to substantially contribute to the benefit of the community. And then I can go ahead and qualify that. And I'd like to qualify this by stating a historical fact.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that answer again? Because I'm not sure that I got an answer that was for that question.
Well, I believe that anybody that uses the mountain needs to substantially contribute to the benefit of the community. And then can I go ahead and qualify that? And I would like to qualify this by stating a historical fact.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, nothing in Hawaii was free. Yeah? On a yearly basis, there was the makahiki. The makahiki was a circuitous trip around the island where the alii went and gathered taxes from the users of land. It came in the form of valuable goods like rope and feathers. It came in the use of food. So, in qualifying my answer, I believe it is consistent because it's been established in history that community contribute to the welfare for the use of property, and that was done through this circuitous trip around the island called the makahiki, whereby the alii visited different communities under their stewardship and collected taxes. So nothing was for free.
Okay, thank you. So would you agree that TIO's interest in the education of Hawaii's children is motivated by its goals of gaining community support for the construction of the TMT?
No, and I'm not sure what TIO is, but I assume it's got something to do with TMT. But no, I don't believe it's motivated.
Thank you. Do you think that a dollar amount or price can justify desecration of sacred land or ivikupuna?
I don't know how to answer that question. They would have to assume that I believe that desecration is taking place.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms.
Mahalo.
Sleightholm. Mr. Sinkin? I don't want to, well, we could break if that's, we can break, but we need to come back at 12:45. Is that work for you, Mr. Sinkin? All right, why don't we break until 1:45 and we'll resume. Thank you, everybody.
How much more questions do we have?
Contested case hearing for the 30-meter telescope project. A proceeding for the State of Hawaii, DLNR, Board of Land and Natural Resources.
You're watching Naleo TV.